Welcome back, guys. In this series, we are troubleshooting Kubernetes examples that you might face in real life scenarios. I have made like 12 other videos which range from mostly easy troubleshooting steps. We are slowly and gradually going to go into more difficult ones. Right now, in this video, we will look at network policies and see how we can troubleshoot network policies. So I have a front end and a backend pod. So I'll apply those, and then I have a network policy. Actually, before this, I can show you how it works without a network policy. So to get a network policy, you can do a kget netpol, and there are no network policies. If I do a kget pods, you can see the two pods are running. And if I do kexec frontend pod -- curl backend service, oh, curl is not installed in the front end pod. So actually, it would be easier if we install curl than using wget. I use an Alpine image, so it would be apk add curl. So once it is installed, let's clear the screen and let me run the curl again. And you can see the Nginx pod. The reason you can see this is because when you deploy any pods in the namespaces, by default, the traffic is allowed between these pods in the same namespace. And oftentimes, if you do a kget service, you will see a Kubernetes service running of a cluster IP. When you see a cluster IP service, it means that everything in the cluster can talk to each other unless you have a network policy. So let us deploy the network policy, and you will see the netpol over here now, and it is targeting. The network policy is targeting backend pod. So if I do kget pods, it has a backend pod. So this backend pod, if I do kdescribe pod backend pod, you can see in the labels there's an app equal to backend. So the network policy is for this pod, and we will control the traffic from and to this pod. So that's the pod selector. Pod selector means which pod the network policy is going to enforce rules and conditions on. So let's clear the screen. And now if I go back to the curl command, you will see that we are not able to curl. We are not getting the Nginx page. And why are we not getting this? This was one of my interview questions when I went to San Fran for an interview in 2022. They gave me two services and they said they cannot talk to each other. Try to figure out why. My first point was to do a kget all. You can see over here, we see the front end pod, back end pod, and the service and Kubernetes service. We don't see network policies. If I do a kget all -a for all the namespaces, we will see kube system stuff, but we still don't see the network policy. So this is very tricky. Until you do this kget netpol, you won't see the network policy. And for some reason, I had remembered it might be a network policy. I did that, and they had the network policy blocking the TCP. So what we'll have to do over here is kEdit netpol. And over here, we can see that it is telling podSelector match labels for app backend, and it is telling the policy type is ingress. So we are controlling what goes into the backend pod, which makes sense because when we do a curl from the front end pod, it's failing. Now here is the rule. This is the main rule that controls what goes in backend pod. And we are saying that ingress from podSelector match labels access granted. So whichever pod has access granted label, only those pods are allowed to do an ingress traffic on backend pod. So let's go back. Let's do a kget pods -- show labels. And over here, we can see our label is app equal to front end and not access granted. So we'll come over here and change this to app equal to front end and save and quit. It is going to edit it right away. And let's clear the screen and run the curl command again. And you can see welcome to Nginx and everything. So this is very useful troubleshooting stuff. Oftentimes, when a service is being blocked, it has to do with wrong network policies or The correct network policy is where the service shouldn't be able to talk to the other one. And that is how you will troubleshoot network policies. There's a very good website which helps you practice network policies. I'll try to link it in the description. But that is it for this video, guys. I will see you guys in the next video.